This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is... It's the news of the week with your anchorman, Dennis Miller.
Thank you for that unsolicited applause. Good evening, and what can I tell you? In a surprising burst of candor this week, President Bush issued a warning to all American voters. Quote, "This is all I need to destroy the world. So if I was you, I'd think twice about sending me a message at the polls, okay?" Paul Tsongas, in an attempt to avoid the same mistakes George Bush has made this week, looked over possible vice presidential candidates. Here, Tsongas covers the mouth of C. Everett Koop as he tries to tell the "find my keys and I'll drive us out" joke. CIA Director Robert Gates broke precedent this week when he accidentally told the truth at a press conference. And George Bush shows what he would do if he was standing behind Pat Buchanan on the edge of a really giant volcano. You know, nothing seems to be going right for the president. Last night, while giving a speech in Los Angeles at the Century Plaza Hotel, he was haunted by the ghost of Detective Frank Drebin. Earlier in the week, the Bushes and the Reagans shared a hearty chuckle when they reflected on everything they've gotten away with over the last 12 years. Bush is attending a drug summit in San Antonio. See, Bush really wants to win the war on drugs. He's going to let the ozone deteriorate so badly that it burns up all the marijuana, and then he's going to let the economy plummet to the point where nobody can afford the drugs. See, he's got a plan. GM Chairman Robert Stempel demonstrated with his fingers how wide the shaft would be that he would give his employees this week. GM, reeling after recording a record $3 billion loss this week, unveiled a new strategy. Anybody buying 3 new Chevys would be given a really giant truck. Gladys Fulton won the grand prize for her custard pie, one of hundreds of pies eaten on a hot Florida afternoon by Judge Willard Scott, who went out later for pasta and a life-size fudge replica of Elvis for dessert. Leona Helmsley has lost her appeal. Obviously. Crown-hungry Prince Charles this week set up his mother with Klaus von Bülow. The Pope John Paul lookalike contest was a big hit this week. Here the pontiff is shown consoling the last place finisher. Former Philippine First Lady Imelda Marcos was ecstatic yesterday when she finally found her dead husband's checkbook. Here we see the original crew of the Starship Enterprise as they take a bow following their performance in Star Trek, the play. You can catch them at Ray's Dinner Theater in Skokie, Illinois through Sunday. Phasers on prime rib. Here we see Scott Persons and Dan Padian as they run with a tray full of drinks during the Kennedy Estate waiter auditions. After the announcement this week that diaphragms may cause toxic shock syndrome in women that wear them, plans were stopped to market these combination nightlight IUDs. Dr. Goran Klintman unveiled his new invention this week, the Norelco Super Shaver, which can shave a patient's entire body in under 3 seconds flat. Drug czar Bob Martinez looks on pensively when, during the announcement of the new Bush drug policy, he realized he was about to peak. Famed suicide doctor Jack Kevorkian didn't let his recent trial get in the way of his busy practice. Here, Kevorkian bids a fond adieu to his latest patient. You know, I've got this scratchiness in my throat. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish this. I wish there was somebody else here who could do this newsman job.
Here we see a large, hairy-nosed wombat holding a big stuffed raccoon. Now, the Grammys this week, Michael Bolton won Best Male Pop Vocal for his remake of When a Man Loves a Woman, and Natalie Cole won for her remake of her dad's Unforgettable. Grammy officials are guessing that songs written this year will win Grammys in the years 2000. After years of entertaining children, Captain Kangaroo has brought a yacht, or, for that matter, bought a yacht, and told everybody to go screw themselves. Just give me 1 second, will you? White supremacist Tom Metzger tells reporters he's not only a member of the Aryan Hair Club, but he's also a client. I've forgotten how I used to end this. Oh, yeah, I got to think about it. There was some way I had an ending for this.
Chevy, you ignorant slut. Partially. For you to come on this show and usurp Dennis Miller.
Guess what? That's it. That's the news. I'm Chevy. I'm Helen Reddy, and you're not.
Live on tape, it's the Dennis Miller Show. Tonight, Chevy Chase. Rock and roll with Ugly Kid Joe. From Waynesville, Tia Carrera. This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Jif. Choosy moms choose Jif.
Thank Danny for coming in and being our surprise guest. Still gives me a thrill when I see those guys together. It reminds me of those. Yeah, isn't it cool? Yeah. That first year, SNL was, I think, about as funny as it ever gets on television. My first guest is, and you're not, Chevy Chase, folks. Chevy. Mr.
Well,
Chase.
it's good to see one of our own finally doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Chevy. You know what kills me is that I did that show for 6 years, and every time anybody ever interviewed me, the first question was, what's it like to follow Chevy?
Yeah.
And I think you only did 20 3 shows, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, 23 shows. That was it.
Wasn't that weird? Did you do 23 shows 15 years ago, and you make such a dent that to this day, that's all anybody talks about?
Yeah, but you know what? Actually, that's unfair. It's unfair to everybody who's doing that show now. I mean, Mike and Dana and all those guys, and Phil, because you all get the rap of, well, what about the legends? You know, and all that stuff. I mean, that's never been fair.
Yeah.
So you had your way of doing it. I had my way. Jane had her way of doing it. And Kevin does it now. Kevin
yeah, you did it with
Nealon.
him last week, or a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, and he does, you know, and it's always, how can I follow, you know, how can I follow Dennis? So, same thing.
Now, looking back, was that like, did you think you left too soon? Was that like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I'd known...
No, I mean, just from...
If I'd known you were coming on, I would have stayed a lot longer. Yeah. Yeah, I did miss it. I missed it a lot, and I always regretted it. But I kept quiet about that for a number of years. It was more of, and I think you know that because you knew Lauren well too, that it was a relatively personal decision that made me leave.
Yeah, it wasn't even showbiz as much as it was you wanted to get.
It's not like
married.
I had a lucrative contract out here. I wanted to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And when.
What a softy Chevy is. He had it all, and he left it for the love of a good woman. Now, when did that marriage end?
Lasted less than a year. Kaput, 9 months. Took half of everything I owned.
Yeah, but she got you out of the show.
Yeah. This is a nice set. This is sort of a cross between Twin Peaks and Michael Eisner's house in Aspen. Have you been there?
Oh, I had a better chance actually being to Twin Peaks than I have the Michael Eisner's house, for God's sake.
But the guy who did this, I understand, is the same guy, Leo Yoshimura, who did
Saturday Night
Live. It's a beautiful set, and I'd like to congratulate Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
Let's bring him out here.
Leo always plays
He always played Lieutenant...
in Star Trek.
Who is it?
Lieutenant...
The guy in the front.
Zulu,
yeah.
Yeah,
Leo had been up 4 nights just building the set for Star Trek, and then there'd be playing Sulu and missing his lines. Well, Belushi and me and Dan had been sleeping all night.
To this day, maybe the 2 funniest sketches on SNL were the original Star Trek. And then the one with Lovitz. Did you see the Lovitz one when Shatner addressed?
Yeah, very funny.
Isn't that funny? Both of them were
when you have Shatner, you can't lose.
Yeah, that was so great when he said, Shatner finally looked at the people and said, "Get a life."
Yeah.
I think it was a cathartic moment for America at that point.
I think he meant it.
Yes, he did. And by the way, I saw Shatner doing a dramatic reading today of Rocket Man. Have you ever seen this video?
No.
At a science fiction convention, they got him to do a dramatic
Get a life,
reading.
Dennis.
It's the best TV I've ever seen in my life. It is the funniest thing. We got to show it to you after the show. I've got a copy of it. Do you ever go back and look at any of the tapes of the old show, or did you just leave it behind?
Recently I did. I recently looked back at some of the early stuff, the Pryor show, and some of the Buck Henry stuff in the Elliot Gould show, and they were very funny. I really got a kick out of them. And times changed, you know. It really, people say, well, the show's not as good, but it was more that the tenor of the times changed, I think, and it was difficult to deal with comedy during a period when you had a president with the brain of an egg timer, basically.
You and Lauren went down and met him, though, right?
Yeah. No, that was Ford. I'm talking about Reagan. I'm talking about the 80s, you know, the entire 80s.
When you say a president with the brain of an egg timer, I got a whole handful to deal from there.
Ford was the bunt cake.
What was he like when you met him? Did he enjoy the thing I loved about you, your impersonations were so ballsy because you never made any impression, you never made any attempt to look or act like these people.
There are 2 very bad stand-up comics in this world. I'm not a stand-up. Steve Martin, who is a good stand-up comic, but 2 of the worst mimics in the world are Steve and I. We just can't and won't even touch it. So I just figured for Ford, it was just hit your head and go, no problem, and that was it. And that covered it. Whereas Dan could do, you know, great Nixon, great Tom Snyder, any of them. He could do great Carter.
Yeah, Danny
wasn't my thing.
Danny was seamless. Now, tell us about the new film. I saw it last night. I thought it was great, and I went out to...
It's great of you to see it. It's
great that you find that great.
If I may say so, it's great that I'm here. I know you have a clip. It's basically called Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and will always be called that. And
great.
based on a novel, and it's great that I made it. And
Is the clip great?
It's terrific, terrific.
Okay,
Let me explain this clip before we roll it. I'm invisible in it. You can see me. And in the film, you'll see me most of the time because the studio said, we simply don't want to spend $40 million on a film that we can't see you in, Jeff. I was saying, I simply don't want to work. If I could be invisible, I wouldn't have to. But the fact of the matter is, when the audience's point of view is watching my character, they can see me. And I think what you have here is also some kind of B-roll that explains what we're about to do, and then they show the scene as shot. So
you're invisible?
As far as you know.
Thus, the pathos.
There you have it.
All right, let's look at the clip, Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
I don't even know what it is.
B-roll? What the hell is it?
But he has to look at you to jump back, right? You're just keeping a dead path, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not jumping out of his way.
No, he
would miss me anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But to make it closer, if you did spot me...
Why not I spot you and jump out of your way?
Out of the way, and I'll just keep right there.
So then when I come up here, I'll take my time this much, and then I'll see you.
And go for it.
And right about then, I'll be right past the white line right here.
Yeah, and okay.
Dive
Good
out
luck
of
for
the
both
way.
of us. Okay.
Hey, wait a second, man.
Wait a minute.
What gives? Where's the clip?
There was no clip. I guess that was just some kind of videotape of us shooting a scene.
Last time
That's not, in fact, the scene in the movie.
Who were those guys? The last time I
have
saw
no
them in
idea.
ponytails,
That was,
it was
John
Josie and the
Carpenter.
Pussycats, for God's sake.
You meant Sean Connery, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
The Pussycat.
We're going to be back with Dr. Chase and discuss Memoirs of an Invisible Man a little more right after this
And
with
your
Chevy
help.
Chase, folks. Bye-bye. Chevy Chase. Geez, I wish they would have sent us an actual clip because there's so many.
I wish they had sent us is the correct syntax.
I'm constantly haunted by this man.
I wish I would have would be the conditional subjunctive at the wrong time. I'm just kidding.
All right, conditionally, subjectively. What the hell was with that
I
clip?
wish we had a clip. What was with the clip? We don't have a clip?
There's so many funny, some of the visuals in there were so funny when you're smoking. That was that some anti-smick statement there, or what?
A little bit. There's a lot of visual special effects in this, and they are expensive, and they're basically done by the same guys that did Terminator 2, and Predator, and The Abyss, and it's a workout. It's a workout on the actor because I had to wear lenses that covered my eyes and black makeup in my mouth and all around my face and just general junk on me, glycerin and syrup. And Daryl kisses this invisible man who's come out of the rain as if there's nothing on it. I mean, it looks like she's kissing a beautiful image. She's getting crap all over her hands, black all over her face, and it's take after take after take. I mean, it's a tough life.
When she took... You talk about your conditional subjunctive. Now, when you were out with her at dinner, that was the funniest scene. You look like Jimmy Swaggart or something, or some...
No, a little like Roy Orbison or...
really bizarre wig.
But these are inside jokes. You have to see the movie, too.
Oh, the movie isn't even out till tomorrow,
it's
right?
It's not out until... It opens tonight.
Can they go see it, come back? We meet here Saturday and talk about it?
I'd like to be here tomorrow morning.
Okay, sure. We'll do AM Chevy.
Thanks for seeing me.
Now, you were a host one night. Didn't you try this once? Do you find it as difficult as I do sometimes?
I tried it once on Carson, and it was so tough. That's why I watched you your first week, because I thought, I feel for this guy, because I don't think I made eye contact any further than that mic between you and me. Didn't hear a word the other person said. Was only conscious of the fact that it seemed like even the shortest sentence my guest said seemed like an hour. Like, I should be talking, I should be funny now.
Right.
It's time for me to cut in. I haven't talked in a long time. I haven't heard a word they said. I mean, it was just frightening. It's a very scary thing. And you'd think that people such as us who come out of live television that this would be a snap, but it really isn't. It's very difficult, and you're doing a great job.
Well, thanks, Chevy. You know, we... Thank you. Now I got. Now you did this one night. You hosted a talk show, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. What happened?
I was doing not paying attention.
I know, and I was just doing Bob and Ray.
Okay, beautiful. Now Carson, he's the genius at it, isn't he? Jesus, when you watch it. Oh, I said Jesus. Sorry.
I don't think he'll mind. I've known Johnny a long time.
Both JCs.
Yeah, but the thing is it's not a question of who's better. It's a question of what it is about each person individually. What Johnny's great at is making his guests look good.
Right.
This is a very funny guy. He's been doing it a long time, for 30 years, and he's still, in spite of all the stuff you hear about how close to the vest he is and how egotistical and all those things that are rumors, he still makes it his job to see to it that his guest looks good. And that's a very tough thing in making this kind of show work, and he does that well.
Now, you play poker with him and Steve, right?
Yeah, Steve Martin and Carl Reiner and Dan Melnick and Neil Simon and Johnny Carson. It's a very funny game. I have my poker face, which the whole game is this. That way you never know if it's bad or good.
Who's the best bluffer out of that group?
Steve never bluffs.
No.
If he starts betting, he's got, a king-high
so
flush.
he's like the jerk when he plays.
That's right. Johnny's out he's just out. He's out. I'm not going to play till he's got a winner, then he's a big winner. Barry Diller loses thousands, but
he doesn't have to lose anymore.
Very funny. Yeah. It's just a fun game, and doesn't take a lot of deep minds to play this game. These are games where hold a card up your forehead and bet on it, that kind of thing. It's not heavy poker.
Right. Hey, now did I hear? I thought I heard you. Maybe it was on Alan King. He does that fine show on Comedy Central, Inside the Comedy Mind. Were you serious that you might go back to television at some point in the future? Or?
I am now.
I mean, doing a regular show. I thought I heard.
Doing it here.
You have any interest in that?
No, I don't think so. It could happen. It would depend really on the money, and it would depend on the venue, and really it would depend on whether I could have my way, totally. Be subversive and, do what I want.
I'd imagine if you walk back into TV, they'd write you a blank check as far as doing what you want, though.
I don't know about that. I mean, I've been off for some time, and I make movies now, and, it's a different thing. It's tough. I don't know.
Well, this movie I thought was interesting for you because...
Am I supposed to be looking at you? I can't tell from the setup.
Yeah, it's
whether I'll be looking at you.
We're trying to work on this.
Toward that.
Well, actually,
most of this
over
is
that
this.
way.
Okay. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. I
thought this last film was great, and it was more like foul play, where you got back to acting instead of just doing Chevy. Sometimes your movies are, it's funny when you do Chevy, but you were definitely playing a character in this one. Is that what you'd like to do in the future?
True. It was more like that, and in fact, the first time I see Goldie in Foul Play, I made a move that once I had filmed Memoirs, I realized was the same exact move I made when I saw Goldie. I was throwing a peanut into my mouth, chewing, and I saw her and stopped. And in this one, I look at Daryl, I'm throwing a peanut in my mouth, I see her and I stop, and it's 10 years later.
Same peanut?
The same peanut.
Everything's recyced in Hollywood.
The whole thing, yeah.
Good to see you, Chevy.
Is that it?
Well, yeah, we got to...
It's worse than Letterman.
Huh?
I didn't even finish the sentence.
I'm sorry, they were finished. Chevy Chase, folks. We'll be right back with Little Joe Kidd. Let me get over here. We got that? He's going to have it? Okay, Academy Award nominations are in, and they've already knocked off the plots and titles for the X-rated film community. Look at the, take a look now at the monthly calendar from the Nude Art Theater right here in Hollywood, California. All right, some of the films coming up. We have Glen Canyon, Thelma on Louise, City Liquors. Edward Scissorglands is coming in. Oh, Madame Bovary and Europa Myropa. It's the foreign film. All Tarts of Darkness. The Last Girl Scout. My Own Private Hoe. Yeah, in the booth, you need not move on to the next one until they discontinue applauding. The Swisher King, stop. Beauty on the Beast. Oh, Jugsy. And JF blank blank K. Oh, big one. Hooker. Naked Munch. And a bisexual built for two. So those are some of the films coming up at the New Arts Theater. Okay, a little piece of comedy there. My next guest was discovered a la Lana Turner. Who? In a Hawaiian supermarket. She spent 2 years as Jade Sung on General Hospital and is the excellent babe in Wayne's World. Tia Carrera, folks.